again for a good week.
I have a story I think I probably tell every year that when I did Zeta that year, because I just lucked in, it was like, it wasn't even Zeta at the time, it was just the midnight shift. I just came into work overnight, and I was like, okay, it is time for me to leave. Please take me to the airport, and somebody then drove me to the airport after however many shifts I had done. And I get to the airport, and I'm like, I'm on a flight that's leaving in a half hour. And they look, they're like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yes, I am. My ticket is right here. They're like, that ticket is for yesterday.
No!
Because my times got so screwed up that I'd forgotten when I was going home.
Holy moly.
Yeah, and for $50, WestJet fixed my flight so I could fly home.
Oh, that's very nice of them.
Yeah, I was surprised. Big saw how tired I was.
Yeah, they're like, wow.
If we don't get
This broken man, let's get him
If we
home.
don't get him out of here, he's gonna fall asleep here.
I was so certain too, and I think they just looked at me and they're like, but you're a day late. I'm like, no, I'm not. Oh my God, you're right. I'm sorry. I've been on a 24/7 charity drive where I've been staying up all night, and I'm really sorry. Can I go home?
I wonder if they looked at you like that guy that would stay overnight in the airport, like brush his teeth in the airport bathroom, walk around like a bathrobe.
It's like, if you don't let me go home, it's going to be the terminal.
Yeah.
at Victoria International Airport,
Yeah.
which there's not much to do.
International is mostly in quotation marks
Yeah,
for our
it's
You could
airport.
theoretically
Big
make
enough-
it to Alaska.
It's like big enough to land a jet, I think is what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
One international flight.
It's a small airport.
It is.
Like I flew out of Penticton to go
yeah.
visit my nephew, and they don't have like a past security like area where you can go and do things. It's you go through security and you're in the only gate.
yes.
That is the airport and whatnot. So they make announcements and then you go through security and then you go onto your plane.
Oh, interesting.
You don't like go through security and really like wait. It's just like
That was, actually it's the same thing at Medicine Hat Regional Airport. It's the same thing. When it's time to board, then you go through security then.
yeah.
It's weird.
The airport in my hometown, Prince George, has 2 gates.
Oh, fancy.
Ooh,
Double.
the 99%.
Yeah, I know. It's very fancy.
When I had to fly out of Medicine Hat one time to come home here, we showed up first thing in the morning. It was puddle jumpers, because that's all that flies out of this place essentially.
My least favorite kind of
Oh
planes.
God, yeah. And I'd never flown in a plane this like this. I was like, I've always flown in puddle jumpers that were nicer than this. This one was just a wreck. And coming in, so leaving, I'm expecting to get on the same flight, but I didn't, because they canceled the flight. Because for the first time ever in like probably decades, Medicine Hat was fogged in. One of the driest places on the prairies got fog. And so I was like, well, how am I getting out of here? I'm gonna have to fly to Calgary so I can fly to Victoria. And they're like, you could wait. And I'm like, it's like 9 in the morning or 9:30 in the morning. I'm like, my flight leaves Calgary at 2. And my parents are driving to Calgary. So I drove to Calgary and beat the plane.
Whoa.
It's a 3-hour drive.
I used to really like taking like the bus in Alberta. You know, and it's just like because
It doesn't swerve much.
well, yeah, and you also don't have to worry. Like you don't have to feel bad. Like when you're driving through BC, you don't want to like you kind of just want to experience BC because it's like this gorgeous province,
Yeah.
right? Alberta.
There's a lot of the same
Yeah,
thing.
there's not a lot to it. Like, I mean, the mountains are pretty neat, but it's like if you're taking like a bus from Edmonton to Calgary, I wouldn't feel bad about like playing my 3DS or anything like that because there's nothing really to see.
If you want to know what it would be like to drive through, to know what it's like to drive through BC, please watch Road Quest. Just
Yeah.
That show.
yeah, why not advertise our own stuff?
Ding.
But if you want to know what it's like to drive through Alberta, that section of that one episode where we're driving on top of the not the mountain but on top of the rise on that plateau, when it's just kind of like there's not a lot of trees and it's a lot of grass, put that on loop, that one section for about 3.5 hours, and that's driving any highway in Alberta.
And every once in a while, you get like a big like view of just yellow because of all the canola fields and stuff like that. Yeah.
But on actual highways that are wider than you could, wider than is probably necessary in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're great highways.